Okay, 1 second. Is my screen visible clearly to everyone?
Yes,
Am I audible clearly?
yes.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Let's start quickly. We are going to start with unit number 2. Sheetal, you have missed 1 or 2 sessions. Okay, so I will take that revision over the weekend or next week. We'll plan that and I'll take that revision. Don't worry about it. Okay, but mainly while we will be discussing what we are discussing in unit number 2 today, most of the things will be revised for you again. Unit 1 is very basic, जहाँ पर हम types of statements, हमारा sentence structure कैसे रहता है, वो सब हम देखते हैं. ठीक है, it's very basic, but again, as I said, we'll be revising it over here also, so don't worry about it. Now we'll be starting with unit number 2. The name of the unit number 2 is what do you do. What do you do? What do we mean by what do you do? जब हम पूछते हैं what do you do, इसका मीनिंग क्या हुआ?
आप क्या कर रहे हो?
आप क्या करते हो?
करते हो, ओके
आप
ओके.
क्या करते हो? Okay, that's what it means.
हम्म.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, understood, Sheetal, also?
Yes.
Okay, that's what it means कि आप क्या करते हो. Now we ask that question whenever we want to ask someone what do you do for living. Okay, मतलब आप काम क्या करते हो, ये जब हमें पूछना होता है तब हम पूछते हैं what do you do. Clear?
Okay.
Yes. Now in this unit basically we are going to see different types of jobs that people take up. Okay, now first thing that you have over here on the screen is 6 part-time jobs that students take up in United States, but these are not only common in United States, these are common all over the world also. Now you might not know or you might know also, it totally depends, that most of the students in foreign countries whenever they enter university they compulsorily take up some kind of a part-time job. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, it could be either to support their college funds, okay, college fees, to support their parents sometimes if they are not from a very uh, financially good background, or sometimes just for exposure, sometimes just for extra pocket money. But even if they are from financially good family, they will still take up that part-time job. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
yep, once they enter the university. And even the campuses allow according to the rules that they have. Some universities allow 20 hours, some universities allow 40 hours, some universities allow you to work on the campus itself, some universities will allow you to work outside as well. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
uh, so some of the jobs which students usually take up are given on the screen. I want you guys to read one by one. Sheetal, you can start with number 1. Read number 1, number 2, number 3. Then Shubhangi, you can read from 4th onwards.
Yes.
Now most of the times I will be speaking in English. कुछ नहीं
Okay.
समझा मुझे रुकाना है एंड क्वेश्चन पूछना है कि मैम नहीं समझा प्लीज रिपीट. I have no
Yes.
problem, but you have to get used to listening to me also in English. Okay, so we do that
Okay.
from the first class itself, and that's compulsory. And you
Okay.
also have to reply in English only.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Sheetal, you can start from number 1.
These jobs are easy. These are super fine.
We cannot hear you clearly, Sheetal.
I think it is
Make sure your microphone is connected to Google Meet properly. Sometimes the Google Meet acts very funny and the earphones don't get connected well. Shubhangi, you can continue from number 4 till then.
It is caregivers server, and fitness instructor.
Very good. So first three, it's usher, tutor, and team assistant. Now, usher is the person who helps us in movie theaters. So you might remember long time back जब पेपर टिकट्स एग्जिस्ट करते थे, अभी तो एग्जिस्ट नहीं करते अनफॉर्चुनेटली थैंक्स टू डिजिटलाइजेशन, बट जब पेपर टिकट्स एग्जिस्ट करते थे देयर यूज्ड टू बी अ पर्सन जो हमारा पेपर टिकट देखता था
Okay.
एंड फिर वो सीट नंबर चेक करके हमें बताता था कि कहाँ हमारी सीट है.
Okay.
Correct. He
Yes.
used to verify our ticket and he also used to guide us.
Okay.
Correct. That
Yes.
person is called usher.
Okay.
Yeah, they still work, like we still do have ushers in movie theaters, but they are not very active because of digital tickets now that we have.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Then tutor, of course, tutor is the person who helps us with the subjects according to their expertise. Correct. Then we have a team assistant. Team assistant is mainly in sports team. जब
Okay.
आप sports में when there is a person who assists the coaches and of course the other players also.
Okay.
जो हमारे इंडियन क्रिकेट टीम में हम 13 प्लेयर 14 प्लेयर बोलते हैं ना यूजुअली. So
Mm-hmm.
हाँ,
Yes.
so these are of course they are players, they can
Okay.
vouch for other players also, but these guys team assistants they just help the team. Okay.
Okay.
Then we have a caregiver. Caregiver is a person who takes care of senior citizens. Okay,
Yes.
now
Yes.
caregiver is a little different from nurses that we have in India.
Okay.
Nurses, they have proper licenses, they have proper degrees. Correct.
Okay.
Caregiver is only the person who will emotionally support the person, be there with them, and make sure that they have eaten, like for senior citizens they have eaten and they have had their tablets and everything. Okay, the
Okay.
medicines.
Okay. Okay.
They don't do any other things as such. Okay,
Okay.
that's
Mm.
the basic difference between caregiver. Then
Yes.
we have a server. Server is nothing but a waiter that we call in India. Okay, it's
Okay.
just another
Okay.
term for it. Then we have a fitness instructor. Fitness instructor, of course, we understand already that
Yes.
it's the
Yes.
person who helps with the fitness.
Yes.
Now, if you observe, most of these jobs they don't need any kind of degree or any kind of license as such. Of course, for nowadays for becoming a fitness instructor, you need a license.
Yes.
Without that you cannot become, or you need a degree at least. Without that you cannot become one, but otherwise like you don't need anything as such. Correct. So
Mhm.
now
Yes.
my question to you is, which jobs are easy and which are difficult according to you and why? जो इधर दिए हैं उनमें से ही हम बात कर रहे हैं. Okay.
Uh, I think usher, team assistant, caregiver, server is quite easy jobs
Okay.
compared to tutor and fitness instructor.
Okay, and why do you think so?
Because when we give the service of tutor or fitness instructor, the tutor we should know about which subject we have to teach
Mm-hmm.
any student or anybody. And
Mm-hmm.
also for a fitness instructor, you know everything about fitness uh, kind of. Mm, specific degree or any kind of education related to fitness.
Mm-hmm.
So this is mandatory for these two jobs. So
Okay.
I think it is quite difficult
Okay.
because rest of the four are not like that. Anybody without any education or any degree, they can give these services.
Hmm. Okay.
Hmm.
Got it.
Yeah.
Sheetal, what about you? Are you able to speak?
Yes, sir. I think that is easy job.
Sheetal, we still can't hear you properly.
माईक नीट पकडा तुम्ही.
हाँ, थोडासा त्याचाच इश्यू आहे, माईकचाच
हं.
इश्यू आहे. Try speaking or try disconnecting your earphones.
हाँ
I don't know about usual job.
Usher.
Sure.
Hmm.
I think tutor is easy job.
Okay. And which jobs are difficult according to you then?
Fitness instructor.
Okay, that job is easy.
Y-
Okay. And why
yes.
do you think so?
Uh,
Why do you think it's difficult?
mm, no idea.
Okay. You
Can't
don't know
think.
why it's difficult. Okay, no problem. You can just say whatever comes to your mind. That's okay. There is no right or wrong answer to this. Okay, understand that. Okay, now next, what is your opinion? Are these good jobs for students? What do you think?
I think it is okay.
Mm-hmm.
Not so, matlab, um, what say? It is easy and not required any degrees or anything. So it is quite good jobs for students.
Mm-hmm. They are, because हम multiple jobs की बात कर रहे हैं. They are.
Yes, they are.
They are good jobs for students. You think?
Yes.
Okay, Sheetal. What about you? What do you think?
What, ma'am?
What do you think? Are these good jobs for students?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, yes. This is good job.
these are good jobs. Okay. Now, what are some other jobs that students can take up? इसके अलावा और कौन से जॉब स्टूडेंट्स कर सकते हैं? व्हाट डू यू थिंक?
Nowadays, that Swiggy and Zomato
Mm-hmm.
delivery, that kind of job also good for students.
Okay.
Also, in a big mall or like Decathlon shops,
Mm-hmm.
stores, they also assist the customers. Also,
Mm-hmm.
this is also good job for students.
Okay.
And
What else? Any other jobs?
Nick, then this is there is a in this picture mentioned tutor, any
Mm-hmm.
kind of tuition.
हाँ, हम इसके अलावा की बात कर रहे हैं. अदर
हाँ,
जॉब्स हम,
yes. Okay,
है ना,
okay.
जो यहाँ पर नहीं दिए हुए हैं.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. People like students can also take up a job of babysitter or dog sitter.
Yes,
करेक्ट.
yes,
डॉग
yes.
वॉकर, ये
Dog
बहुत
walker,
कॉमन
yes,
जॉब्स है.
yes, yes,
करेक्ट. ऑफ कोर्स
yes.
इंडिया में ज़्यादा एग्जिस्ट नहीं करते, बट इफ़
हाँ,
यू गो अब्रॉड यू कैन वर्क आर्ली ऑल्सो. In India, usually we hire someone for a month, correct? But
yes.
we can also hire someone only for hourly basis. Okay,
Yes,
so that
yes.
is also very very common in foreign countries. Of course, it should be
Mm-hmm.
common in India also,
Yes,
but unfortunately, it isn't. Okay. Now, if you ask me the answer to the first question, there is no right or wrong answer. As I said, I feel none of the jobs are easy and none of the jobs are difficult. It totally depends on you and how good you are and what kind of work you enjoy. And again,
okay. Yes,
working part time in universities also gives you exposure to how the work environment is going to be in corporates. It gives you that glimpse, I would say, correct,
yes,
of what you're going to face after getting out from your university, I would say.
yes,
So it's a plus point if you start working early on. It gives you that discipline, I would say. Okay,
yes,
but of course it depends. Now in India, we whenever we have children, we feel कि नहीं तुम बेटा सिर्फ पढ़ाई पे ध्यान दो, बाकी सब चिंता मत करो. But it's not about money sometimes. It is also about exposure. It's also
yes,
about what you get to learn. And that
yes,
is the whole reason many internships in India don't even have stipends, because they want you to just come and learn. Okay.
yes,
Of course
yes,
India में internships exist करते हैं ज़्यादा, but Working part time is also good, I would say. It also gives you that discipline of understanding financial literacy, I would say. So there are lots of pros to it, I would say. Of course, there are some cons also, but yes, it gives you that exposure. Now, moving to the next part, over here you have different kinds of jobs that people usually take up. Okay, now you just have to divide them into the category which is given over here: office work, food service, entertainment business, and travel industry. So यहाँ पर जो jobs दिए हुए हैं, you just have to put them into the correct category. I want you to write them down quickly. And this job, it's called chef. It's not
Chef.
chef. The pronunciation is not chef, it's chef.
Chef.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah, so write it down quickly.
Ma'am, where to write?
In
Sorry.
your notebook. In your notebook. I hope you are
Physically.
yeah, yeah, I hope you are sitting with one.
Uh, Give me a few minutes.
Sure, sure, get one quickly.
Yes, ma'am.
Done?
Done.
Okay. So, in office work, tell me your jobs quickly which you have included. Sheetal, I can't see you on camera. Keeping your camera on is compulsory, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
In office, I have written
Mm-hmm.
receptionist
Very good.
and website designer.
Mm-hmm.
These tools only.
These two only. Okay.
Huh.
Sheetal, what about you?
Yes, ma'am. Same cashier, receptionist, website designer.
Okay. Food service. Even in food service, we have a cashier, correct?
Okay.
Hmm. Of course, these jobs will exist in some, like, they will overlap. Okay.
Okay.
Like, they might exist in office work also, food service also, and sometimes in other businesses also. So it's okay.
Okay.
There, again, the way I said, there is no right or wrong answer. Okay.
Okay.
Hmm.
Next, food service,
Mm-hmm.
chef, and server.
Okay.
These tools.
Correct. Next, travel industry, Sheet.
Travel tour guide
Hmm.
and pilot.
Pilot. Yes.
Very good. And Sheetal, what about
Yes.
entertainment business?
entertainment, singer, dancer,
Mm-hmm.
musician.
Mm-hmm.
Mm, that's it.
That's it. Okay, great. Now, next over here, you have few sentences which are given on your screen. Okay, you just
Okay.
have to connect these sentences together, like match the following. Match the following करते हैं ना वैसे. You have to connect these sentences and write it down in your notebook. Okay. Also observe the pictures. It will give you a clarity of what they are exactly doing in picture.
Hmm.
Okay, it's very easy, but while you frame the sentences, also observe how verbs have been used, because that is something that we are going to look at today. Okay.
Okay.
Try doing it quickly. Done.
Yes, done.
Okay. First three sentences, Shubhangi, you tell me, and then last three, Sheetal, you will tell me. Okay. You can
Yes,
Yes.
start
ma'am.
with salesperson, Shubhangi.
A salesperson sells clothes in a department store.
Mm-hmm.
Second, a chef cooks food in a restaurant.
Okay. Next.
Next, a mechanic fixes car in a garage.
Very good. Sheetal.
A carpenter build houses.
Builds. Don't miss the S. Builds.
Builds. Okay. For a construction company.
Mm-hmm. Next.
Next is a reporter writes stories.
Mm-hmm.
For a newspaper. A nurse. Where is
This one, cares for patients.
Cares for patients in a hospital.
Very good. Okay. Now, if you observe, all the verbs that have been used over here are not in ing form, first thing. And second thing, with all the verbs, we have used s over
Yes.
here. Okay.
Yes.
Hmm.
Because we
Yes.
are talking about third person. Now,
Yes.
we will look at that. Don't get confused as of now by what is third person. We are going to look at that. Okay. But before that, let us quickly see a conversation to understand it better. Now,
Okay.
I want you guys to read this conversation. Sheetal, you can be Jason, and Shubhangi, you can be Andrea.
Yes.
Okay, and you will read the conversation loudly.
Hmm.
You can start.
Okay, ma'am. Where do you work, Andrea?
I work at Thomas Cook Travel.
Oh, really? What do you do there?
I am a guide. I take people on tours to countries in South America like Peru.
How interesting.
Yeah, it's a great job. I really love it. And what do you do?
Oh, I am a student. I have a part-time job too
Where do you work?
in a fast food restaurant.
Which restaurant?
Hamburger Heaven.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Yeah.
The conversation is pretty easy. Correct? Any confusion, any doubt in the conversation? Basically, they're
No.
talking about their jobs. Correct? Now,
Yes.
one
No.
thing that you need to understand over here is that whenever we pronounce the letters in English,
Okay.
there is a particular sound attached to it. Okay, now the topic that we are going to look at right now, before we look at the grammar topic for today, is voice and accent. A bit of voice and accent to reduce our mother tongue influence. Now,
Okay.
before we enter that, what do you understand by mother tongue influence? Tell me that first. Have you heard this term before?
Yes.
MTI or mother tongue influence?
Yes.
Okay, what do we mean by it?
Uh, Actually, our mother tongue is Marathi.
Mm-hmm.
We are using it since our childhood.
Correct.
Uh, so when we speak another language other than Marathi,
Mm-hmm.
and then it what say?
It has some kind of influence on the other language that we
Yes, yes,
practice.
it has some kind of influence, Marathi influence on that another language.
Correct, correct.
Yes.
And this mother tongue influence is not only for us, it happens with all the
Every,
languages.
yes,
Every
all
language that we look at.
languages.
It's not only for us Maharashtrians or
Yes,
say for Japanese people or Korean people, it happens for everyone.
yes,
Whenever you have English as your second language, it will have some kind of impact from your native language.
yes,
Okay, now
yes,
that is called mother tongue influence. Now,
yes,
is mother tongue influence good or bad? Now, there is no right or wrong answer to it again. Okay, it totally depends on the company that you're working in. Okay,
yes,
as we are working professionals, I would say it totally depends on the company that you're working in. If you're working in an Indian company, you only interact with Indian customers or Indian clients, it's okay to have mother tongue influence. Everyone has it. Okay, even your
yes,
customer or your client is going to have it. But if you're dealing with global clients, then it's a big no no.
yes,
Okay, as I said, it totally depends on your atmosphere and on your environment. Now, I would say it's good to not have mother tongue influence. It opens
yes,
up avenues for you.
yes,
Okay, now what do I say or what do I mean when not to have mother tongue influence? You should have a neutral accent. Now, what do I mean by neutral accent? Now, when I am speaking in English, can you guess whether I am a Maharashtrian, I am a South Indian, I am a Gujarati, or I am a Japanese, or I am a Korean?
no, absolutely not.
Exactly, that's what a neutral accent is.
Yes,
Okay, now many students ask me कि मैम मुझे ना यूएस accent सीखना है या फिर यूके accent सीखना है after reaching at this stage of life where we are already good with English, but still we want to improve our accent. See,
Yes.
if you're not from that region and if you try to use that accent, समझ में आता है कि आप accent fake कर रहे हो करके.
Okay.
Okay, when you start speaking, even I can speak UK accent or US accent, but when I start speaking in that accent, समझ में आता है कि वो मेरा real accent नहीं है. मैं ज़बरदस्ती वो accent में speak करने का try कर रही हूँ. हाँ, when
Okay.
you stay in that region, you must have seen many students or many people around you who have lived in UK, who have lived in US or some other regions, and वो उधर का accent वो adapt हो गया है, क्योंकि वो सुन सुन के हो जाता है. हमारे साथ भी होता है. Now I remember in between I was working with like a company from Bangalore, and I used to interact with their stakeholders every day, and somehow उनका सुन सुन के मैं भी उनके जैसा speak करने लग गई थी.
Okay.
Okay, तो when it happens naturally it's fine, but अगर आप ज़बरदस्ती करने का try करते हो then it's not fine. ठीक है.
Okay.
That is
Okay.
why it's good to have a neutral accent. If you have a
Hmm.
neutral accent, it opens up avenues for you. You can work for any company. You can work for UK based company also. You can work for US based company also. You won't face any limitations as such. That's what I feel. That's my opinion. Again, as I said, it's not a right or wrong answer as such. Okay. Now, how can we gain that neutral accent? To gain that neutral accent, I feel हमें इंग्लिश के लेटर्स के साउंड समझना इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है.
Okay.
ठीक है. नाउ वी फील कि इंग्लिश के साउंड्स और अपने मराठी के साउंड्स सेम है, बट दैट्स नॉट द ट्रुथ.
Okay.
ठीक है. इंग्लिश के साउंड्स सिमिलर है बट सेम नहीं है.
Hmm.
ठीक है. नाउ वी ऑलरेडी नो व्हाट आर कॉन्सोनेंट्स एंड वी ऑलरेडी नो व्हाट आर वावल्स.
Hmm.
Correct.
Yes. Yes.
Vowels are A, E, I, O, U, and consonants are all the other letters.
Yes.
Now, of course, हम each and every sound आगे जाके one by one देखेंगे, but to give you a brief over here, consonants हम अपने मदर टंग में, मोस्टली अपने मराठी में, हम ना बहुत स्ट्रेस करते हैं.
Yes.
करेक्ट. फॉर
Hmm.
एग्जाम्पल अगर मैं बोलूँ DAVID, यू विल से डेविड.
Yes.
करेक्ट. बट उसका
Yes.
करेक्ट साउंड रहेगा डेविड.
David.
Very slight pronunciation of the consonants.
Yes.
ठीक है. At the same time, some of the consonants that we pronounce like P, F, V, K, T, इनकी pronunciation ना थोडे अपने नेटिव्ह लँग्वेज से अलग रहते हैं. मराठीपासून थोडेसे वेगळे असतात ते.
Hmm.
ठीक आहे. मराठीमध्ये आपण पी साऊंड करायला गेलो तर आपण म्हणू पप्पा,
Hmm.
बरोबर.
Hmm.
बट द ॲक्च्युअल साऊंड विल बी पापा
Yes.
of that word. Same way V, the pronunciation of the letter V. For example, we will say in Marathi active, correct? But it's
Yes.
not
Yes.
active, it's active.
Active.
Then F's a pronunciation, P's a pronunciation. You might have heard many people saying photograph instead of photograph,
Photograph.
correct? That
Yes.
is how we mispronounce because of our native language. That is why what we do is we look at the letter of each and every sound
Hmm.
to we look at the sound of each and every letter to
Hmm.
understand them better. Okay,
Yes.
and how to pronounce them better. But
Yes.
today we are going to look at the pronunciation of the letter R. Okay, because this has a very high impact on our mother tongue influence.
Yes.
Okay,
Hmm.
now आता तुम्ही जेव्हा हा वर्ड रीड केला इथे, most of you might have said where do you work, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Where do you work?
Where?
But that is now how it will be pronounced. You will pronounce where do you work.
Where?
Now why? That we have a rule attached to it. To tell you in a simple way, understand this. Whenever we use the letter R at the end of the word, most of the times it will be silent. Okay?
Okay.
If you want to remember without any rules.
Okay.
Okay? This is how you can remember it. कि last ला येतोय ना letter R, the most of the times तो silent असणार आहे. For example, the word water. We will not say water.
Hmm. Hmm.
Water. We will not say there. We'll say there.
There.
Okay.
There.
Now, without rules, if you want to remember, this is a simple
Yes.
way to remember it. Now, if you ask me the rule to it, there are two rules. First rule, if we have a vowel and after a vowel we have the letter R, then the R will be silent. Okay.
Yes.
If we have a consonant and if after the consonant we have the letter R, then we will pronounce that R. At the same
Okay.
time, if we have the word, if we have the letter at the start of the word, then again we'll pronounce it. For example, rabbit. We will say rabbit. Okay.
Rabbit.
At the same time, we will say Andrea because D ahe and D नंतर R ahe. So we will say Andrea. Okay.
And
But when we have a vowel and after the vowel we have the letter R, for example, where and work, we'll say where do you work. R चा एकदम slight pronunciation असतो, but we
hmm.
will consider it as silent as of now to get used to it.
Yes.
Okay, where
Yes.
do you work? I work at Thomas Cook Travel. That's how I will say it. Okay, now
Hmm.
quickly let us listen to the audio to understand it better over here. Okay, for these words first, and then we'll look at the same conversation also that we just looked at.
Okay.
We pronounce it.
rat,
Rat.
rice, pretty, strain, cry, story,
We do not pronounce it.
car, court, learn, shorter, store,
Okay,
Yes.
now the same conversation that we looked at right now, we are going to listen to it, and when we listen to it this time, focus on the pronunciations of R's. Okay,
Okay. Okay. Done.
one second.
Unit 2. What do you do? Page 9, Exercise 4, Conversation. Where do you work? Part A. Listen and practice.
Where do you work, Andrea?
I work at Thomas Cook Travel.
Oh, really? What do you do there?
I'm a guide. I take people on tours to countries in South America, like Peru.
How interesting.
Yeah, it's a great job. I really love it. And what do you do?
Oh, I'm a student. I have a part-time job, too,
Where do you work?
in a fast food restaurant.
Which restaurant?
Hamburger heaven.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, it's again hamburger. We will not say burger.
Hamburger.
Hamburger. आपण कसं म्हणतो बर्गर बर्गर खायला गेलो होतो आम्ही.
Hamburger.
Okay, so we'll say burger.
Yes.
Yeah. So again, मी आज सांगितलं म्हणून तुम्हाला लगेच लक्षात राहून you are not going to speak in the same way from tomorrow. Okay, you will need to deliberately practice on it every day. You will
Yes.
mispronounce at the start, but that's where you have to go back and make sure that you pronounce the words clearly again. Okay,
Yes.
now we will listen to the second part of this conversation. Here you have to focus on the question, what does Jason do exactly? Because he just said that he works in a fast food restaurant, correct? We don't know what job he does. Now we are going to
Yes.
listen to that, and then you have to try to focus on the question, how does he like his job?
Hmm.
Okay, and I need full sentence answers, not one word answers. Okay,
Okay.
Unit
one second.
Page 9, Exercise 4, Part B. Listen to the rest of the conversation. What does Jason do exactly? How does he like his job?
What do you do exactly? Do you make hamburgers?
No, I don't. I'm a cashier. I just take orders.
And what's it like there? Do you like your job?
Sure, it's fun. And I get free hamburgers, too.
Okay, so what does Jason do exactly? कोणी ऐकलं का नाही ऐकलं?
ऐकलं.
Okay, so what does he do exactly? He is a cashier.
Yes. He is a cashier.
Yeah, and how does he like his job? He loves it. He even gets free burgers. Correct?
Yes.
He likes his job.
Yes.
Okay. Now, as I told you, we are going to look at the tenses today, the way we did the match the following sentences. Okay. Now, here we are going to start with our first tense, which is our simple present tense. Okay. Now,
Yes.
tenses are important for us. We already know that the tenses help us to frame the sentences in a better way.
Yes.
Correct? Now, whenever we frame the sentences in English, we follow a sentence structure. Correct? What is the sentence structure that we follow? Subject, verb, and object. Subject is the main thing that we are talking about in the sentence. Verb is the action that we are doing, and the object part gives us more information of the sentence. Now, whenever we do translation method, that is, whenever we frame the sentences in English, what we do is we first frame them in our native language and then we translate them to English. Correct?
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
whenever we do that, most of the times, if it's a bigger sentence, the common mistake that we do is we do not place the words in the proper order, and it's called incorrect word order.
Yes.
ठीक है? Example, um, just give me a bigger sentence and ask me whether we have it in a correct word order or not. Make any sentence. What do you do as soon as you wake up in the morning? First, make that sentence in Marathi and then translate it to English. Any sentence.
I brush my teeth.
I brush my teeth. थोड़ा मोठा sentence. Brush my teeth खूप छोटा sentence है.
I wake up in the morning and first I check my mobile.
Okay. I check my mobile. That is also correct sentence. Very good. Correct sentence structure आहे. Many times we say sentences like this. Correct? Today I am going to the market. Today I am going to the market. Now you tell me, is this a correct sentence structure? We say it like that, so that's why it might sound correct to you. Correct?
Yes, it is sound correctly, but I think it is bit wrong.
It is incorrect. Why?
Incorrect.
Because the word today will come at the end of the sentence. Why? Because it is an adverb. We are going to look at that in unit number 6. Don't get confused as of now by
Okay. Okay.
trying to understand what is adverb.
Okay.
Right now we are trying to understand the sentence structure. But आपण असे sentence का बनवतो? Because that's how we frame it in our native language. Correct?
Yes.
That's how we
Yes.
frame it in our language, that is Marathi.
Yes.
Okay, आज मी मार्केटला चाललोय.
Oh.
Right?
Hmm.
So
Yes.
we'll say today I'm going to the market.
Hmm.
That's how we do incorrect word order in a sentence. Now
Yes.
for this, best thing you can do is make the sentences in English directly. Now plus point for us is that we know English already. Okay? I'm not asking you to frame correct sentences. I'm asking you to frame sentences in English. It
Okay.
doesn't matter as of now if you're framing it correctly or not. As we keep learning, you will understand the correct sentence structures. But the main thing is that you frame the sentences in English. Okay,
Okay.
whether you're framing them correctly or not, I am there to help you with that.
Yes.
Okay, but first thing is you need to frame them directly in English. Now see, we know most of the words in English already. Okay, so it's not a very big task for. It's not like learning a foreign language where we need to learn the words also. No, most of the words that we use in our native language are English. आपण टेबलला टेबल म्हणतो, कम्प्युटरला कम्प्युटर म्हणतो, मोबाईलला मोबाईल म्हणतो, which are English words.
Yes.
Correct? We just need to follow the sentence structure properly and frame that sentence. So as I said, these sentences that we frame in English have the sentence structure that is subject, verb, object. Now, whenever we frame sentences in English, we use different tenses. Correct. Now, the main three tenses that we have is present tense, past tense, and future tense.
Yes.
Correct. And
Yes.
then we have subtypes to it. That is simple tense, continuous tense, perfect tense, and perfect continuous tense.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Now, we don't look at them all together. We look at them one by one to understand them in a better way.
Okay.
ओके एकत्र बघितलं तर कन्फ्युजन होतं ठीक आहे आणि कन्फ्युजन झाल्यामुळे कोणता टेन्स कधी यूज करायचा हे आपल्याला कळत नाही त्यामुळे वी लुक ॲट देम वन बाय वन टू अंडरस्टँड देम इन अ बेटर वे
Okay.
ठीक आहे
Yes.
नाउ first tense that we start off with today is simple present tense. Now, we in India, whenever we want to speak in English, we usually frame the sentences with ing form. Okay? For
Okay.
example, as soon as I am waking up, I am brushing my teeth. But that is not the correct tense to be used for this because here we are talking about a habitual action. The
Yes.
sentence that I framed, it was for a habitual action or a repeated action that I do repeatedly.
Okay.
Correct? So
Yes.
I will use simple present tense instead, where I will say as soon as I wake up, I brush my teeth. I will not use ing form. Okay. Same way, I can also use this tense to talk about a particular routine of a person on a particular day. For example, we all have a particular routine on Sundays, correct? So we
Yes.
can use simple present tense to talk about it again.
Yes.
Next, we can also use it to talk about permanent truths and scientific facts. Permanent truths are nothing but the things that we cannot change. For example, sun rises from the east. Can we change that?
No.
No. So it
Yes.
becomes a truth. Okay, a
Yes.
universal truth पण म्हणतात त्याला.
Yes.
Then a scientific fact like water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. Can we change that? No.
No.
So we will use simple present tense to talk about it. We can also use it for future events, but it has a particular rule when we use it for future events. Again, it needs to be a repeated action. आणि त्या वन टाइमला आपण ती ॲक्शन करतोय देन ओनली वी कॅन यूज इट सो डू नॉट गेट कन्फ्यूज विथ दॅट रूल जस्ट रिमेंबर 3 rules for simple present tense that is whenever we are talking about a habit or a repeated action a permanent truth or a scientific fact then we will use simple present tense to talk about it.
Okay.
Okay, now the most important thing for us is this sentence structure in simple present tense. Now whenever we converse in English we have 3 people involved in a conversation. Okay, example, first person, second person and third person. First person is the speaker. आता मी बोलत आहे so I am the speaker. Okay, so
First
words
person.
I will use are I am speaking. Okay, I speak regularly or I am speaking to you. In plural, that is anek vachan, we will use we. We
Yes.
are learning tenses. Correct? Then
Yes.
comes second person. Second person is the listener. You are
Okay.
listening to me, so you are the second person. I will use the word you in that. Now, third person is important for us. Third person is the person who is not involved in the conversation, but we are talking about that person.
Okay.
For example, our student, our classmate, Chaitali, is absent today.
Yes.
So I will say Chaitali is absent today. So Chaitali becomes third person over here.
Okay.
Now third person can be involved in the conversation or might be absent from the conversation. Okay,
Okay.
totally depends. Now many
Yes.
times when we are talking among our friends, we might just take the name of another person and say, "ये नेहा तो हमेशा absent रहती है." Correct? नेहा को देख के we might just say that.
Yes.
Correct? So
Yes.
that could also be a situation, but still we are taking the name of that person and referring to that person as a third person over here.
Yes.
ठीक है?
Yes.
But most of the times that person will be not in the conversation.
Yes.
Now
Yes.
again, third person can be singular or plural.
Well.
In singular, either I will use pronouns he, she, it, or I will use the name of that person. The way I said Neha या फिर चैताली, ऐसे हम नाम यूज करेंगे उस पर्सन का एंड उस पर्सन के बारे में बात करेंगे. Okay, in third person plural, again we might use the names of two or more people, or we might use the word they. They are
Okay.
absent today.
Okay.
करेक्ट. बट दे सिर्फ प्लूरल लोगों के लिए यूज होता है, दे सिंगुलर के लिए यूज नहीं होता है. अगेन रिमेंबर दैट दैट इज
Yes.
अनदर इंडियन मिस्टेक दैट वी डू, कि हमें लगता है की हम इंडिया में कैसे आहो जाओ करून आपण बोलतो ना, तसं इंग्लिशमध्ये पण वी ट्राय टू यूज दे फॉर अनदर
Yes.
पर्सन इन सिंगुलर
Yes.
ऑल्सो, but it's not needed. Okay, in English
Okay. Okay.
we do not have a formal language or a respectful language as such. We use the same language for everyone.
Okay.
Max to max you can do, instead of using pronouns you can use the name of that person instead.
Yes.
ठीक है. Instead of saying they are coming, I will say sir is coming in 2 minutes.
Yes.
Okay, that's a better way to say it instead of
Okay. Okay.
using they.
Okay.
Many people use it. Like, see, understand this again. खूप वर्ष जर रॉंग इंग्लिश यूज करतात ना, तर ती रॉंग इंग्लिश राईट इंग्लिश होऊन जाते आफ्टर अ पिरियड ऑफ टाइम.
Yes.
ठीक आहे. सो दॅट्स हाव इट इज. देचं पण तसंच आहे की
Mm.
इट्स ॲक्च्युली इनकरेक्ट इंग्लिश, बट मेनी पीपल यूज इट, सो यू कांट इवन कॉल इट रॉंग ऑल्सो. Okay,
Yes.
that's the
Mm.
thing with it. Now, as I said, for us, third person singular is very very important in English, because you will see lot of rules change with third person singular. Okay, over here when we are talking about simple present tense, you will see when we frame the sentence with first person and second person, the verb remains as it is. I will say I go to school, you go to school. But when I talk about third person singular, we will add s or es to the verb according to the spelling rule, of course. He goes to school every day. ठीक है. Again, if I use they go to school every day. So only with third person singular we will add s to the
Yes.
verb. So work will become works, take become takes, eat
Eat.
will become
Eight.
eats. Okay,
Okay.
and whenever we have negative sentences or interrogative sentences, we will use do and does. Okay, now again we have three types of sentences. We have many types of sentences in English, but three main types that we use while speaking. Okay, that is positive sentence, negative sentence, and then interrogative sentence. Positive is a normal statement. Negative जे आपण मराठीमध्ये नकारात्मक म्हणतो,
Mm.
right? That is whenever we use the word not or never in a
Never.
sentence. And then we have interrogative. Interrogative questions are the interrogative sentences are the questions that we
Question.
ask.
Yes.
Okay, it could be a yes and no question, or it could be a WH question.
Yes.
WH questions, they of course start with a WH question word, and they expect an explanatory answer.
Yes.
Okay, but yes and no questions, they usually start with our helping verbs, and they expect yes or no as a response. For example, if I ask you, do you live in Pune? You will
Yes.
say yes,
Yes.
or the answer could be no. There are only two
Yes.
possible answers.
Yes.
But if I ask you, where do you live? There could be multiple answers to it.
Yes.
Correct? And
Yes.
a bigger answer also. You could write an essay also on that. So that's the basic difference between the types of sentences that we have.
Yes.
Now, over here, whenever we frame negative sentences, we will use do not or does not. Okay, I
Yeah.
don't go to school every day, he doesn't go to school every day. Now, with third person singular, we will use does over here. And as we are using does, verb main verb सोबत आपण परत s add नाही करणार. Now this is a common mistake that people do. First thing, in positive they will skip s, or they will use s with wrong subject. Okay, or if they are talking about negative sentences, then they will use s with again wrong verb, that is with main verb, or they will use s with both the verbs. These are some common mistakes that people do. Okay, that is something that we are not supposed to do. If we are using does, then main verb सोबत परत s use नाही होणार. ठीक है.
Okay.
In yes and no questions, we will start with do or does. Again, depending on our subject, I will say, do you go to school every day? Do I go to school every day? And does he go to school every day? Okay. And whenever we are framing WH questions, we'll start with WH question words like what, when, where, how. And we will ask, when do you go to school every day? And when does
Let's
she go to school
scale
every
it
day?
full.
ठीक है, that is the basic difference that we have in
Yeah, okay,
types of
okay.
sentence, and these are the common mistakes again we don't use does and do properly whenever we are framing interrogatives, and in negative also, and
Hmm.
s positive sentences मध्ये s आपण proper जागी use नाही करत. That's what we have to be careful about. Okay, some more examples. What do you do? I can say I am a student, I have a part-time job too. Where do you work? I work at
But
Hamburger Heaven. Where do you go to school? I go to the University of Texas. Now, this is in first person and second person. If we use third person, then the sentence structures will change. What
okay.
does Andrea do? She is a guide. She takes people on tours. Okay. Where does she work? She
What
works at
was
Thomas Cook
on
Travel.
the scope travel?
How does she like it? She
He
loves it.
loves it.
That is how we will frame the sentences.
Yes.
Now, quickly write down the rules. Write them in your own words. पूर्ण लिहायची गरज नाही आहे. Example skip करू शकता. You will get the notes also. So don't worry about it. But I still want you to write it down. Okay, no screenshots. You have to write it down in notebook. And then we will do a small exercise. And next class मध्ये याच्याच basis वरती आपण speaking practice ही करू.
Okay. This tense is mainly used to express this, and is mainly used to express actions done as matter.
Give me 2 minutes, okay? Just when you're done, let me know. I'll change to the next slide.
Yes. Or actions done repeatedly. This tense is also used to express this. Is also used to express a person's routine. Routine on a particular day. Done, ma'am. I'm done.
I have changed to
This
next slide.
this tense also express permanent truths. This tense also expresses truths. It is used to express an already planned future event. Done.
Okay, next.
एक्सक्यूज मी मॅम.
Yes, yes, tell me. Sorry.
काय लिहायला सांगितले?
हे जे स्क्रीनवरती आहे ते फक्त रूल्स.
स्क्रीनवर मला दिसत नाहीये.
ओके, एकदा क्लास लीव करून परत रिजॉइन करायचं ट्राय करा.
ओके.
आता दिसते का स्क्रीन? येस.
स्क्रीन नाही दिसत आहे. हा. यूज. Ma'am, I think network issue is there.
Okay.
I can't slide.
Okay, you will get the notes also. Don't worry. Done with this part, Shubhangi?
Yes, 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 ma'am.
Okay. Write this quickly. Write this. हे लिहिलं असणार आहे. हे लिहा.
नाही याच्या अगोदरची हा हे
हां.
पाहिजे. Done, madam.
Done?
Yes.
Okay. Next. Done?
Yes.
Okay. Last slide.
Done.
Done?
Yes.
Okay. Now, quickly try doing this exercise. In this exercise, again, you have to use the same simple present tense and try to fill in the blanks, but make sure that you follow the sentences properly, sentence structure properly.
What do you want to do? I am a full-time student. I study.
Sheetal, can you see the exercise or do you want me to send a screenshot of this?
No, ma'am, I can't see.
You can't see, no? I'll send a picture of it. Just give me 1 second. I have shared it in the group itself. Check, please.
हे लिहायचं आहे मॅम.
हो, एक्सरसाइज सॉल्व करून लिहून काढायचं. म्हणजे लिहून काढून सॉल्व करायचे. माझी मराठी एवढी चांगली नाही आहे या. उलट बोलली मी. माझं मराठीमध्ये इनकरेक्ट वर्ड ऑर्डर होतात.
अच्छा.
Tell me once you're done.
Yes, ma'am.
Done?
One sec, ma'am. Yes, done.
Done? Okay, Sheetal, what about you?
Yes, ma'am, done.
Done? Okay. First exercise, um, Shubhangi, you can tell me, and Sheetal, you will tell me the second exercise.
Yes.
Shubhangi, you can start.
What do you do? I'm a full-time student. I study the violin.
Very
Uh,
good.
and when do you go to school? I
Where?
go.
Where? कुठे जातो? Where do you go to school?
And where do you go to school? I go to the New York School of Music.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Do you like your classes?
Mm-hmm.
I like them a lot.
Uh-huh. How do you like your classes? How do you like? Yes and no question nahi hai to. Open question hai na. Sheetal, second.
What does Tanya do?
Mm-hmm.
She, she is a teacher. She teaches an art class.
Very good.
Is it correct, ma'am?
Yes, that's correct.
At a school in, uh, what is the pronunciation? Denver.
Denver, in Denver.
Denver.
Hmm.
What about you, Ryan? Sorry,
Ryan.
Rian.
Ryan.
Ryan.
What about
Okay.
Ryan? Ryan
What
is
about
also name of a
Ryan?
school in Pune, if you guys know.
Okay. Where does he work? He works for a big computer company in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
What does he do exactly?
Mm-hmm.
He is a website designer. He designs. एक minute, last line.
Fantastic websites. He designs fantastic websites. Correct.
Fantastic.
Very good. Now, for homework, you will solve exercise B. Okay. Along with that, what I want you guys to do is write down your routine. Okay. Write down your routine, and it has to be only in simple present tense. ठीक है. Everything that you do एकदम brief में नको है. I wanted explanatory. Okay, minute to minute details add करतो ना आपण तसं. You will add every detail from what you do as soon as you get out of bed till the time you get into bed again. Okay,
Yes. Yes.
everything. Try to make it as descriptive as possible so that I get more matter from you to see how much you have understood simple present tense and how many mistakes are you making. Okay, in
Okay.
it.
Yes.
Understood?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, we'll stop over here for today and we will continue
Tomorrow.
tomorrow most probably, but I will still message you. It's a Saturday, but I have missed one class in between, so I'm planning to take a session tomorrow, but of course I will inform by 6 p.m. Okay, don't worry.
Yes.
ठीक है.
Yes.
Okay then guys,
Okay. Thank you.
no problem. Bye bye.
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 Bye.